Hello, denizens of the universe. There is a reason for the title of this one. It has nothing to do with Powerpuff Girls or Mojo Jojo. Or if an interesting, ridiculously unrelated tangent pops up about Mojo Jojo, it can be about that, but I digress. I don't know. I've been half tempted to. I guess I might as well just come right out and say it. Ever since March, I've had a bit of an existential crisis, one of those ridiculous millennial, I'm having a quarter life crisis things. You know, being close to 25 years old, a quarter of your life is over, and you're kind of looking back on what you've done and whether or not you've actually succeeded in doing anything with your life or doing anything substantial. If a person actually sits down and reflects about what they've done with the first 20 something years of their life, not everybody shot directly into a successful career. Hell, half the people I know, their cashiers are just managing to get by. There's nothing wrong with being a cashier, just for the record, just that the people who really manage to make something for themselves, get into their career of choice, or starting to build up from there seem to be few and far between. It's kind of depressing when I think about it. Ugh, I'm sorry for opening up on that particular kind of tangent. Just been in a bit of a funk. Been in a bit of a horrible, horrible funk. God, trying. I'm. I am going to change the topic from this because really, you guys don't need to listen to me complain about this stuff. Nobody needs to hear me talk about that. Just speaking of absolutely depressing news, though, the Emoji Movie came out today, I think it is. A couple of people posted reviews of it. Just I'm just wondering how long it's going to be kind of counting down the days until you get the obligatory Mr. Enter or the Nostalgia Critic review. Thinking about it, it seems like the Nostalgia Critic's a lot more it it's gotten to the point where he's a lot more likely to take requests about things. He has a review of freaking Norm of the North. Back when he was hitting his stride, back in the quote unquote golden age, like 2007 to 2009, first discovered the Nostalgia Critic back in 2009, he just reviewed whatever the hell he wanted. It was pretty much a given that no, not going to take requests, just going to discuss whatever the hell he wants. Anymore, I'd say that that's a bit nebulous. If there's enough of a demand for something, he's probably going to cover it. I'd bet money that in a couple of years, he's probably going to, or actually a couple of months, let's face it. Movies anymore, they're pretty much out on DVD, syndicated or whatever, a couple of months after they've been out in theaters. So it's not going to be too long before we get a Nostalgia Critic review of the freaking Emoji Movie. I'm just kind of I'm just kind of talking here. In regards to the Emoji Movie itself, my personal opinion is it exists. It's a corporate pandering shill. Something I've kind of cracked horrible jokes at or poked fun at with my buddies and my younger brother. The one thing I can say about it, or the one complaint I really have to lodge against it, other than that it exists, is that Gendy Tartakovsky originally had a trailer, or he was thinking about making a Popeye CGI movie. Saw the trailer for that. It looked fantastic. It was one of those cases where somebody who really loves the source material manages to translate it into CGI and do so in a really interesting and fun kind of way. It's in the same vein as the Charlie Brown movie, or even trying to think here, or even the most recent Captain Underpants movie on the part of DreamWorks. You know, it's not just let's just reboot this particular project because it was popular or because it's profitable. It comes across as a passion project that managed to be backed by a major studio. That kind of feel. That's the kind of vibe I was getting from Gindy's project. But it got canned in favor of making the Emoji Movie. that that's the biggest complaint I'd have about the Emoji Movie. If it just existed by itself, didn't have that kind of context or something behind it. It just exists. It's another property that's probably as infamous as Norm of the North or something like that. But no, it has that extra fodder added to it, so. In an interesting respect, though, if Gindy had been allowed to spearhead the Popeye project, if that would have moved forward, here is kind of an interesting dilemma. Will we still have the final season or the Samurai Jack finale? This is going to be this is a joke comment that my brother made, but I find it kind of hilarious in an ironic kind of way. In order to get the fantastic Samurai Jack finale we have now, to see a conclusion to a series that was kind of left hanging for 10 plus years, we have to exist in a universe where the Emoji Movie came out. It's probably not as cut and dry in that as that, but it's just kind of funny to think about, kind of funny to boil things down to being that simple. Comic-Con trailers. Ah, shoot, I haven't seen all of them. To be brutally honest, I'm pretty bad about keeping tabs on that. The only reason I know about half the nerdy and geeky things that I do is because I have a buddy who keeps better tabs and just they spread links to it all over their Tumblr page or even in Skype. Hell, the biggest reason I know about the Star versus Season 3 clip that came up and or was or that was shown at Comic-Con is because my buddy, who keeps really avid tabs on this stuff, posted a link in Skype and he was like, no, no, hell no, not Tom Star. He just kind of like, no, I don't want this to exist. There's probably a lot more clips and stuff or really geeky, nerdy stuff that pops up at Comic Con, so I should keep better tabs in what I do. At the moment, it just seems like I kind of exist in a bit of a bubble. I know stuff's out there, but if left to my own devices, I've been watching through Star Trek and I watched Little Witch Academia. That was kind of on my radar for a while. I watched Hotel Transylvania 2 yesterday. But that's just about it. Otherwise, actually keeping avid tabs on series on TV. Hell, I keep forgetting that Rick and Morty is going to premiere soon. I think I brought this up a couple of times the last time I had a live event. Or just actually, I have been kind of surprised by how often Pen Zero Part Time Hero has been popping up on my dash. I know that ended fairly recently. I need to watch that series. I've been meaning to. It looks like a pretty fun, kind of interesting series. I can't really comment too much on it since I haven't really seen it. I'm kind of disappointed by the lack of just kind of laid back, casual superhero cartoons. You know, the ones that aren't necessarily based on Marvel or DC properties, they're their own thing. They mix superhero antics or setups with cartoon logic and situations, it's a bit more toned down. One of the best examples I can think of that has this kind of vibe, League of Super Evil. There was a Teletoon cartoon, or I just thought of one of the best ones, El Tigre. That one pretty much embodies the entire idea of casual, laid back superhero kind of scenario. Superheroes with more cartoon logic, antics, stylization. One of the best examples I've seen of that done. God, I freaking loved El Tigre. El Tigre back in 2007. I swear that that cartoon, that's why for a little while I was like, someday I'm going to be an animator. I told that to everybody. It got as far as my sophomore year of college. And that just kind of petered out, and I don't know. What it boils down to is I've just never had the patience to sit down and try animating. I tried once. It was actually an El Tigre fan animation, and God, it does not hold up. It does not. I've been tempted to try learning how to storyboard or something a couple of times. That might be more my speed. It's one of those things that if something has some kind of learning curve, I'm always reluctant to sit down and start doing it. It's ridiculous. I always I always sit there and I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll find some time to do it eventually. Never do. I'm amazed I get anything done. Oh yeah, Rocco's Modern Life. I've heard a little bit about that. Is there going to be a full-blown series reboot? I thought that was yet another case of this is a team getting back together to make one last hurrah or one final movie kind of thing. Thinking about it, of all the older properties I've seen that are getting some kind of reboot, reimagining, or whatever, or ones that are up to bat, there's a Hey Arnold Jungle movie coming out. There's Rocco's Modern Life. Hey Arnold, I need to do some more research on. I am excited about the Jungle movie, but I also heard some stirs or rumors about there being a rebooted series following the Jungle movie. No, no, can we just end Hey Arnold with the Jungle movie? Can we just leave it there? That'd be my preference personally. I I'm just kind of nervous about seeing a series like Hey Arnold rebooted or continued. Considering that the Jungle movie is pretty much a continuation from the series, if Nickelodeon brought it back, more than likely it'd be a continuation from where the series left off. I have such mixed feelings about that. In regards to the spate of reboots, reimaginings, etc., that we've seen recently, most of them just do not hold up. Even cases where I'm going to call Samurai Jack's final season what it was, a continuation of the series, even then, it wasn't quite as tightly written as it could have been. A lot of that was due to time constraints and budget and such like that. But even that kind of has me nervous to, even if other networks are playing with bringing back older properties, even if the original team is behind it. Oh, I have no doubt that the Jungle movie is going to do just fine. I have high hopes for it. I have no complaints about that. It'd be if a series it'd be if there was a syndicated episodic series that followed it. That's where my apprehension sits, if you know what I mean. A full-blown movie or a TV movie, yeah, you're gonna have enough time to wrap up what plot threads you need to or explore what you needed to. It just be if there was another series that followed it. That's what I'm nervous about. Hmm. That's all I really have to say on that. That's on my radar. Definitely intend to watch it when it comes out. There's a shipper's guide of the galaxy. I shouldn't be surprised. You just have to look that up. Oh, it's a YouTuber. That is a really clever handle. That's a really clever pseudonym. I dig it. That is awesome. Sorry for mistaking that. It's just I could easily see Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy being a parody set of articles, or actually thinking about it, yeah, it makes a lot more sense as a username. I could see it being a parody or satire blog somebody runs on Tumblr or something like that. Like take a screenshot or series of screenshots from the latest Star versus Forces Evil episode, or just kind of playfully rib Starco fans or some of the more popular ships, or even debunk more ridiculous shipping theories. I'm probably completely wrong on what she does, but I'm just guessing or speculating as to what somebody with that kind of username would do. It's kind of fun. Hmm. I don't know how much longer the Chadwick references would be would be too relevant there, Will. It's almost August, almost fall. Getting to the point where if Chadwick's running around somewhere, he better find some shelter quick, or else he's gonna be dead. Dead cricket. Gonna hang out with Jiminy Cricket. I was watching a video the other day that kind of touched on how grim and unnerving the original Pinocchio was. That is one fairy tale or series of fairy tales I don't think I'll be reading, because the author did not sound like a very pleasant fellow. I'm surprised he was allowed to publish or push the envelope as much as he did. Because poor Pinocchio goes through quite the series of trials and tribulations. That video was just a condensed version or take on that, though. So, oh yeah, there's something else I kind of wanted to bring up and discuss. I'm kind of smacking myself for not bringing this up, or at least dropping references to this sooner for somebody who might be interested in pursuing this. But Channel Frederator has some kind of contest they're hosting for being the next host of our cartoon conspiracy. Da da da. I need to find that post and put a link in the description. Unfortunately, the contest ends tomorrow, so it'd really be last minute if you were planning on putting in any kind of entry. This is the link to the Channel Frederator contest. Just for the record, I am not connected to Channel Frederator in any way, shape, or form. I just thought it'd be interesting to bring this up and put a link to it in case somebody would be interested. It's more along the lines of, okay, I'm going to go on kind of an unrelated tangent here to the topics I was discussing earlier. The idea of someone being a content creator, just going to start at the beginning here. When someone thinks content creator, it's still a relatively new concept for a career or even a profession that somebody could pick up. In regards to what I was kind of doing, I I'd put myself in a niche next to names like Nostalgia Critic, Angry Video Game Nerd, somebody who discusses a specific kind of media, like just yeah, they pick a specific kind of media and discuss it as either a critic, analyst, some kind of entertainer, commentator, somewhere in that kind of range. If somebody planned on going in that particular direction, it's easier than ever to just start up a YouTube channel and get things rolling from there. The difficult part is figuring out what kind of social media presence is relevant to what you have in mind for your channel or what direction you plan on going. Like, you don't have to have an account on every single social media platform out there. You don't have to have a Twitter, Facebook, DeviantArt, Tumblr, whatever. I will say this much, if you really plan on being active, Twitter and Facebook are probably necessary evils. But that's more to keep in contact with other people or to reach out to some of the biggest demographics out there or some of the easiest platforms to tie in with YouTube. Other than that, the other stuff is really kind of pick and choose. It depends. If you're an artist, I definitely say check out Tumblr and DeviantArt. DeviantArt, I'd say it's one of those pick and choose, don't necessarily have to have one kind of things. Where I was going with this is that there's the if someone is considering being a content creator, it's kind of interesting to think that sometimes you have opportunities like the Channel Frederator contest, where you can throw your hat in the ring and see where things go. And for the longest time, that guy with the glasses was probably one of the biggest and best hubs to try and get onto because your face is going to be floating around on the front of the website if you got on there. It'd be some push or advertisement for your endeavors as a content creator. That's really the biggest point I wanted to put out there. That it it's worth looking into this kind of thing if you plan on being some kind of content creator. Looking into contests that some of these bigger channels would be hosting, like networks, hubs of reviewers and content creators are some of the more well-known ones. Got to kind of keep an eye out. There's a lot more out there. That guy with the glasses and Channel Frederator are just two of the ones that first come to mind, but there are tons out there. Ah, jeez. I just saw the Tom and Jerry and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory comment. Yes, I have seen that. I haven't watched the movie, but I've seen the screenshots popping up everywhere. One of my favorite things to do has been to look that up on Tumblr and just sort of scroll through what new screenshots people have looked up or artists going out of their way to do their own rendition or incarnation on some of the creepy faces and expressions in the Tom and Jerry screenshots. I'm probably not going to watch the movie myself since, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's one of those things I see as this exists. This exists, and it's fun to see what other people make from it. There's not much that I can contribute to that particular conversation, nor do I really want to. So, oh man. Oh my god, Will, why? He just sent me a link on Skype to one of these wonderful, wonderful iterations of these horrible screenshots from this. Just for some context here, if you haven't heard of this yet, there's a lot of Tom and Jerry tie-in movies where they have Tom and Jerry meet Sherlock Holmes, Tom and Jerry meet Wizard of Oz. They pretty much just cobble together a quick movie, pull scenes in story. It's pretty much the original movie plays out shot for shot, just with Tom and Jerry added in somewhere. That's pretty much the case here too. Tom and Jerry put in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. What makes this one more notorious though is because of all the crazy faces and facial expressions people have gotten from screenshots and such. What I linked here was one of many, many artists' incarnations or interpretations of one of the many, many lovely screenshots from this, let's just call it what it is, Nightmare Fuel. A crapster piece that can only be made by the demons of hell. Okay, I want to play a ridiculous game here. Think of every classic movie or some of your favorites and imagine Tom and Jerry in it. How would they put Tom and Jerry? Oh, Tom and Jerry, Army of Darkness. Oh my god. Is it horrible? I kind of want to see that now. I saw one of the Army of Darkness movies for the first time with some friends on Halloween. It was it was fantastic. I if I'm thinking right, it is the masterwork of bad, campy, over the top horror movies. Just it's so bad and hammy. That's what makes it so fun. Tom and Jerry in a horror movie. Oh my god. I would be very surprised if there wasn't a Tom and Jerry Scooby Doo crossover. Tom and Jerry and To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh my gosh. How would you even do that? Considering, isn't To Kill a Mockingbird more laid back and isn't one of the bigger points to do social commentary or a reflective kind of thing? Tom and Jerry does not gel with that particularly well. Their cartoony antics are some of the stuff you'd have to have them do to keep the Tom and Jerry vibe. It would distract from the entire point for that movie. I'm gonna read some of the other ones here. Tom and Jerry in A Clockwork Orange. so, so you have them wearing the white uniform and bowler hats and joining in and harassing poor people on the street. Oh, jeez. Just imagining them strapped into the Clockwork Orange type chairs. Oh, God. It's, it's freaking horrible. Tom and Jerry, Citizen Kane. Tom and Jerry and H.P. Lovecraft's Reanimator. Tom and Jerry beat RoboCop. Tom and Jerry, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Tom and Jerry and It's a Wonderful Life. Tom and Jerry in the HBO and Space intro. These are gold. We need to start sending in. We need to start sending recommendations to the studio that works on this stuff saying, we demand Tom and Jerry and these beloved classics. We demand it now. Tom and Jerry and Alien. Oh no, it's getting worse. Tom and Jerry, Human Centipede. Oh, I could. Is it horrible that the first thing that came to mind when I saw that is South Park pulling something like that or playing with the idea in some way, some form? Oh, jeez. Tom and Jerry and Jeff Goldblum's A Fly. Tom and Jerry in Casablanca. Now that one, of all the suggestions I've seen pop up here, Casablanca seems like the next likely candidate. Oh, jeez. Oh my god. Tom and Jerry, two girls, one cup. I don't think Tom and Jerry Human Centipede is going to be dethroned in regards to sheer absolute weirdness here. Tom and Jerry 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, Tom and Jerry versus Al 9000. Tom and Jerry, Sound of Music. Okay, I take back the comment about Casablanca. I could totally see them making Tuppy one of the kids in Sound of Music and having him do. Oh, can you just imagine that scene where they're greeting the governor or whatever figure that is, where you have all the kids coming down the stairs and they just manage to rework that to where it's just Tuppy greeting Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry and Frankenstein. Yep, that we're probably going to see that rolled out around Halloween. Tom and Jerry are probably going to be Dr. Frankenstein's pets or assistants or something, and then are going to follow Frankenstein's monster as they yet again get the story completely wrong and have the Frankenstein monster be this misunderstood, bumbling idiot. The Frankenstein monster isn't an idiot. That drives me nuts. After reading the original story that all the other stuff was based on, Mary Shelley's original work, he's actually a very thoughtful, considerate, intelligent being. He's very intelligent and very misunderstood. They have the misunderstood part right, but the bumbling, naive buffoon part, no. That drives me nuts. I could rant about that. But can I get back to the Tom and Jerry? Tom and Jerry and Dr. Strangelove. Tom and Jerry, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Tom and Jerry and Manos Hands of Fate. Tom and Jerry versus Cloverfield. Tom and Jerry and Jaws. Tom and Jerry and the Shawshank Redemption. Tom and Jerry in Full Metal Jacket. Tom and Jerry get nailed to the Warner Brothers Shield logo. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna stop the Tom and Jerry thing right here. I think this particular tangent has gone on long enough. Ah, jeez. Like getting nailed to the Warner Brothers Shield logo. Ah, jeez. Oh. Okay, okay. This last one that just popped up, the comments are probably a couple seconds behind real time here, but I gotta read this one. Tom and Jerry and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, okay, one more because this one just, Tom and Jerry and Gurren Lagann. Yes, Tom and Jerry piloting giant giant for some reason that idea just that's freaking hilarious to me. Tom and Jerry piloting giant mechs. Okay. I'm I'm done. I'm done with the Tom and Jerry. I'm done. To keep the weirdness going, though, I just had something ridiculous pop up in YouTube recommended or suggestions. And I'm going to ask you to watch this clip without context. Pretend you don't know what it's from and tell me, what do you think of the characters and otherwise that pop up here? I posted a link to a ridiculous musical number from some animated movie. Tell me what tell me what was the most ridiculous thing that comes to mind when looking at that. PC, I saw that. I saw it. I know Cartoon Network's pushing the whole scheduling thing with Teen Titans Go and all that crap. I was watching a video earlier today where somebody was discussing their displeasure with the current Cartoon Network CEO and her take on setting up the Cartoon Network schedule. I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can find that video again and leave a link in the description to that. Take that as you will. I don't really want to elaborate on it or discuss at length. There's I don't really have much to say about it. This particular video sums up some of the best comments you can make about that, I suppose. See if I can actually. Here it is. This particular video talks about Cartoon Network's weird schedule as a whole. How it seems like they only rerun 4 or 5 shows at a given time. So, if there's a field that people don't really know about, they're less likely to find it on the main network, or you really have to go out of your way to watch it. It pretty much boils down to this video. Pretty much, the person's point is Cartoon Network, you need to vary up your schedule. You should put in some of your other programs or have a block with some of the older shows for some variety, or at least just some kind of variety in there. Maybe even something to match Nickelodeon's 90s block. Just discussing how far downhill Cartoon Network scheduling has gone since the new CEO took over. Stuff like that. Okay. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. What I linked was one of the musical numbers from Don Bluth's animated Thumbelina movie. It was one of the more iffy productions on his part when everybody had to switch over to let's copy the Disney formula kind of thing, what led to productions like Anastasia and this odd interpretation of Thumbelina and the Swan Princess. An interpretation of the scene without context. I'm going to be reading your comment here, Will. Why is there a Rule 34 frog teaching a woman how to twerk while 3 raises frogs guac and dance with her, and ending with her being carried away? The frogs are definitely very exaggerated stereotypes. One of my favorite comments about the pink-haired, kind of busty frog in this particular musical number is, "Hey, is that Nicki Minaj?" One of the comments says, "I didn't know Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift released a new album, her new single." I'm a horrible person. Okay. Looks like the Tom and Jerry thing is still going here. Tom and Jerry meet Thumbelina in a running gag that keeps stepping on her. I don't know about that. Tom might step on her, but wouldn't Thumbelina be around the same height and size as Jerry? I'm not sure about the female frog from Thumbelina. It's possible that she might have been slightly based off of or modeled after a voice actress. I wouldn't doubt it. That seems to be a fairly common practice when designing or modeling characters. Even if the design doesn't completely reflect what the voice actor or actress looks like, some of their facial expressions and mannerisms might carry over from what it looked like when the voice actor or actress was recording. Like they might pick up some of their facial expressions and such. May just have to look that up. I honestly don't know off the top of my head. Oh my god. Okay, okay, stop with the Tom and Jerry stuff. We're done with the let's put Tom and Jerry in ridiculous situation things, okay? Okay, for playback purposes, SR managed to get the 1980s anti-drug PSA cartoon all-stars to the rescue. Where the hell did you find it, man? Did you go on a great big goodwill hunt, Macklemore or LGR style, and just find it in the last place you'd expect? Warner Brothers Suicide Squad. Uh, I don't know about that, PC. Why would it have to be that particular kind of styling of a villain squad or setup? In regards to multi-cartoon crossovers, it seems like the favorite route to take is let's just have a bunch of characters team up and throw it to the wall and see what sticks. Sometimes you have some pretty entertaining results, but most of the time you're going to have some horrible pandering schlock like the aforementioned 1980s anti-drug PSA cartoon all-stars to the rescue. Oh, at the library? Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. I just have to go to my local library sometime and see if there's any oddball things laying around. I know last time I went to Family Video, there were some oddball DVDs and stuff laying around. I think they completely got rid of their VHS section, but that took long enough if I remember right. Mac and Me, an ET ripoff. I'm not surprised to hear that an ET ripoff exists, but What about a Freudian slip? Did ah, jeez. Milo Murphy and Phineas and Ferb crossover. Mixed feelings about that. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I like Milo Murphy's Law a lot more than Phineas and Ferb. Part of that may be because I think Phineas and Ferb really overstayed its welcome for what kind of setup and formula it had. I think 2 or 3 seasons was enough, but that may just be me. Oh my god, the ET ripoff was a McDonald's move. That just makes it even better. I gotta look this up now. I love the whole ridiculous McDonald's tie-in things. Oh my god, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. I love it. Mac and Me is a 1988 American science fiction adventure film co-written and directed by Stuart Raffle about a mysterious alien creature that escapes from nefarious NASA agents and is befriended by a boy who uses a wheelchair due to paraplegia. Together, they try to find Mac's family, from whom he has been separated. The decision to create the film was based solely on the success of E.T. the Extraterrestrial. The title comes from the working title for E.T. E.T. and Me. Some have considered it to be one of the worst films ever made, although it has become a cult classic. Oh my god, I'm so happy to know that this exists. I am posting the link to the Wikipedia article I shamelessly read off of. It has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh my god. That's impressive considering even the Emoji Movie has 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. I know that's comparing apples to oranges, but 5% is a big jump considering it had 0% yesterday. Yes, I've been keeping morbid curiosity tabs on this recently released movie because I'm hoping it spawns something funny or I've been wondering about that peach joke from Milo Murphy's Law. I haven't seen the episode, so I'm out of the loop here. Kind of poking around on Tumblr while I have this going. I noticed that a popular alternate universe for or popular fanfic alternate universe idea thing recently, or this has been kind of a trend. Let's plug in characters from show A into Miraculous Ladybug. One is Ladybug, the other is Chat Noir. I've seen this done with Gravity Falls, Hunter x Hunter, kind of trying to think of some other ones I've seen pop up. Shoot. I know there's a spate of them out there. I'd probably find several more if I looked hard enough. Hmm. I can see why it'd be appealing to plug a couple of different characters from a show into the Miraculous Ladybug setup. Though the only way I see it working or the biggest appeal would be ship interest kind of stuff. Like, two characters are hell bent on putting in Marinette and Adrian's position. Kind of the whole they don't know each other's secret identity things. Let's play with the angst and melodrama that would come off of that. Like for Gravity Falls, you could plug in Dipper and Pacifica in the Ladybug and Chat Noir roles, or even Dipper and Wendy, or something like that. Kind of trying to just rattling off some ideas. And the thing is, this isn't necessarily restricted to just heterosexual ships either. I've seen Gon and Killua from Hunter x Hunter plugged in here. So, yeah, it's pretty much just the base template for whichever character embodies Ladybug's traits better, like the more creative, spontaneous, eccentric one, that's Ladybug. And then the more serious, tight laced, or down to earth one is Chat Noir. What if White Diamond is revealed to have the personality of a bridge Frieza? I, I would love that. I'm not gonna lie. That would be fantastic. I need this. I need this, please. Okay. The other question that popped up, okay. The whole Star versus theory, headcanon, fan concept of Marco being trans. I'm just going to say this right now. If somebody headcanons that, or they like playing with the idea or writing fan fiction about it, more power to you. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that. I just don't see it happening in show. With I've seen a couple of posts where people explain why they hold that particular opinion, or why they think it'd be a possible angle that could be taken with this character. But this is a topic that I kind of like to shelve and leave alone for the most part, since, quite frankly, I just don't think it's going to happen with this particular cartoon. I'm not against an idea of a character coming out as trans in a cartoon. I'm not against that. I just don't think it's going to happen with Marco. That's all I'm really going to say about it. What? Tim Burton is doing a Dumbo remake? Ugh. No, no, no. I refuse to see that in theaters. I am not watching that. Just no. I like Tim Burton for the most part. I I like the whole gothic aesthetic vibe and setup for most of the stuff. I saw the first Alice in Wonderland live action movie in theaters. I like that for the most part. I like Corpse Bride. I like God, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. A Nightmare Before Christmas. I like that one too. But Tim Burton making his own take on Dumbo, that's just no. No. I'll definitely put that on my to-do list. Check out some web series called Monster Island Buddies. SR, I will give you that. The idea of Tim Burton doing a reimagining or his own take on the pink elephant scene, that that could very well work out. That may be really interesting to see play out, because Tim Burton knows how to do the gothic and surreal and the fantastical visual imagery. That may turn out really fantastic, but the rest of the movie, I don't see it. Actually, uh, yeah, it's not a good idea to jump to conclusions about anything. I'm just going to say this much. I'm probably not going to watch it in theaters. If I ever watch it, I'm going to save it for Netflix or when it comes out on DVD or something. May end up being pleasantly surprised then. Oh, jeez. Hmm. Kind of trying to think of another discussion topic or. When I was thinking about starting this particular live event, I was just thinking, hey, let's have a horrible discussion about the emoji movie, acknowledge that this exists, and kind of wanted to mention the channel Frederator thing, point out that that exists in case anyone was interested in trying to make a last or cobble together a last minute video for that. Huh. I'll have to look up what Tim Burton's inspiration was. If anything, definitely be curious to look up more about that particular era of art or even look into silent films. That by itself definitely be a worthwhile pursuit. Check out things that I don't really I'm just going to say it right now, I don't know much about. Hmm. I think Star versus season 3 isn't coming out or the rest of it isn't premiering until like November or something. I'm going to look that up real quick. Probably know this stuff if I actually watch TV more often. I like some of the icons and artwork people use on fandom blogs for stuff. For the under construction blurb on this particular website, the Star versus wiki, they have Marco with the welder's mask and blowtorch. Yep, looking at this particular site, November 2017. Man, 3 months to go. In regards to OKKO, I still haven't watched it. I should have watched it today. I just haven't checked it out yet. There's a lot of shows that I've been meaning to check out, but just haven't. Pen Zero, Part Time Hero. Been meaning to check out Mighty Magiswords. Haven't watched that yet. It's been out for what? About a year now? Mighty Magiswords pops up in conversation fairly often. I have a buddy that he's really excited about one of the characters on that show. Comments on how. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that right now, but Main point is, takes me a while to actually watch something. I tend to be like 2 or 3 months, if not 6 months behind everybody else on checking out that newest thing. Star versus communism. I kind of want to see a special about that, honestly. Yeah, Detention Air is also on that list of cartoons I intend to check out, but just haven't yet. Star versus hiatus. In Star versus Defense, the hiatuses that this particular show's experience not nearly as bad as what other cartoons have seen, like some of the Steven Universe hiatuses, or the Gravity Falls hiatuses. Had a conversation about this the other day with another couple of cartoon enthusiast friends, and if you think about it, Gravity Falls is the king of some of the worst hiatuses you've seen. One episode premieres. Gotta wait 2-3 months for the next episode. An entire episode between the last two freaking parts of Weird Mageddon. Star versus all the Tom and Jerry crossover movies. Yes. In regards to an earlier comment, yep, I've heard of the Voltron reboot. Watched the first couple of seasons of it. Need to watch through them again before checking out season 3. I know that's coming out pretty soon here. In regards to stuff on Netflix, yeah, I'm a bit more aware of what. Oh shoot, sorry about that. I'm a bit more aware of some of the series that have been coming on there than on TV, actually. Like the aforementioned Little Witch Academia. And then, interesting thing about Netflix, they're definitely buddy-buddy with DreamWorks. There are so many tie-in shows for their movies that you probably never guessed existed. There's a freaking Puss in Boots animated series that I think has at least 3 seasons. There's an animated spin-off for Penguin for Madagascar that specifically follows King Julian, because the Penguins of Madagascar series, the shortly lived one on Nick, that wasn't enough. No, that wasn't enough. And I'm pretty sure that one has 3 or 4 seasons as well. There's another series. Like, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Netflix real quick, because I remember seeing a series pop up that had 5 seasons that I never would have expected had 5 freaking seasons, given what it is. Oh yeah, it was Puss in Boots. This Puss in Boots tie-in series has 5 seasons. 5 seasons. How do you get 5 seasons from Antonio Banderas' rogue archetype cat? How do you get 5 seasons out of that? His spin-off movie was kind of mediocre at best. Puss cannot carry a movie by himself. I'm just going to say that right now. How do you make an entire series out of this one character? I don't get it. Speaking of odd DreamWorks series, there's another one. They're even digging through the bottom of the barrel or picking at older, more obscure movies. There's a series based on the movie Spirit with the. I don't really know much about that one, but watch the first episode of that with a couple of buddies. They pretty much have Spirit's descendant or a horse that looks unnaturally similar to him, and it's pretty much a girl's adventures in the Wild West with the horse that looks like Spirit. It'd pretty much be a Girl with a Horse series, for lack of a better way to describe it. But the one twist is she has spirit. the titular horse from this older, traditionally animated DreamWorks movie. That's pretty much their bid or their big selling point for. Watch this because it's based on one of our other tie-in properties. We can't just make a girl riding a horse series. It has to tie into one of our movies somehow. It's kind of interesting to think that all of these different tie-in and spin-off series exist. What the? Oh, jeez. That Tom and Jerry thing spawned something in the comments section, didn't it? Now, rather than let's put Tom and Jerry in weird situations, let's put Star in weird ass crossover situations. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Star versus Nazi the Snowman. Star versus SML Shrek. Star versus the ticket taker, who is high on Ritalin and creates puppets made from human skin. I'm not familiar with that particular character, and I don't think I want to be. Two different DreamWorks. That's not too surprising. I guess I'm just surprised. I'm more surprised at DreamWorks' other animation studio rather than having them make original series or yeah, original series based on newer ideas. They all gotta, or at least, okay, some of the tie-in series and such I can understand, like Puss in Boots. I can see why that exists. Shrek is one of their big sellers, one of the things that gets butts and seats. I can understand why they'd make a series based on that. Even dragons, that one I get. But Spirit and yet another series based on the Madagascar movies. Let the Madagascar movies die, man. Just let them die. And Spirit, that's really digging. I'm kind of scared that they're going to make something based on the Prince of Egypt or the Road to El Dorado now. Actually, between the two, it's more likely that the Road to El Dorado would be a candidate for when they're drawing short straws and can't pull yet another character from one of their movies to base a series off of. Such mixed feelings about that. I'll admit I wanted to see a sequel to The Road to El Dorado, or I like the idea, but I don't necessarily like the idea of a series based on The Road to El Dorado. I don't think that'd play out very well. I just don't. And I'm pretty sure the Star versus or whatever next jokes are probably going to keep running as long as I have this going. Actually, I hate to say it, but my sleep schedule is it's screwed up right now. I'm just gonna head to bed. Good night, everybody.